Bill, I need a double check. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so you might have noticed me wandering around looking like a T-Rex. This is actually because I broke my elbow 5 weeks ago. So I'm going to do a bit of stand-up comedy based on, here's my advice, don't break your elbow, okay? Now, if you don't like my jokes, you can always give me the elbow. Jokes are very humorous. I should have another person with me because, after all, this is a joint production. My brother also broke his elbow and he wanted to form a secret society with me, but neither of us could do the handshake. I went to church, they were like, brother, we're going to pray for Brother Alex. Brother Alex, could you give us a wave? Oh no, you can't. I really appreciate that one. So I had a cast on my arm, and so it meant that I had to do some quite embarrassing things. So see if you can guess what this is. That was me having to wash my left leg while keeping my plaster cast out of the shower. Otherwise known as the idiot dance. Okay? Have a guess what this is?
Scrolling on your phone?
Yeah, Phil got it. I was on Tinder, obviously. Pin used my arm. It's only a joke. I use my fingers to go on Tinder. Yeah. So the final one. What is this?
Opening a jar of jam.
Yep.
Oh.
I need a woman. So yeah, that was me trying to open a jar of pickles, and my last shred of male dignity went as I had to ask a lady to open a jar of pickles for me. Okay,
Not me.
so I'm going to tell you the story. So basically I was playing football and went straight armed, it was this arm, down into the floor. Broke my elbow and almost dislocated it, right? So at 6 o'clock the next morning, I moved in my sleep and dislocated my elbow fully. So I woke up, absolute agony, right? Stuck on my bed, phoned my parents, can you take me to the hospital? So I thought, well, I got to get out of bed. So I'm wearing just boxers, and I'm like, well, I can't be like this. So to get out of bed, I had to literally throw myself out of bed. So my lodger, who has the room next to me, wakes up to this. Ah! No! And then there's me going, as I drag myself across the floor, put an arm into half my dressing gown. So my lodger opens the door and all he sees is me lying on my back with my head out of the door going, can I have some help, please? My parents arrive 5 minutes later, open my front door unannounced and rush in and see my lodger dragging me across the floor half naked by my good arm with me screaming at the top of my voice. So quite a bit of explaining. So then we go to the hospital, and that's where things get a bit weird. So they give me, the pain's terrible, so they give me cocodamol, which unbeknownst to me has opiates or opium in it, or basically weed. That doesn't work, so then they're like, would you like some morphine? And I'm like, morphine? That's heroin. Like, I'm a Christian, I don't do drugs. Well, it is science after all. It's the NHS, I gotta trust them, so yeah, sure. So they gave me some morphine, had no effect whatsoever. So finally they gave me gas and air, that was the real deal. I mean, it's not the National Health Service, it's like the National Herb Supply. So you might as well have some sort of dreadlock-toting, ganja-smoking Rastafarian on the front desk. Yeah, do you want some of this? Man, it's really good. Anyway. So I was literally, where they were manipulating my arm, undislocating my elbow, putting a plaster cast on me, I was high as a kite, singing to the nurses, Jesus loves you, Jesus loves you. And they're just like, this guy's a nutter. So after that got sorted out, we went to the x-ray room. So they had to take an x-ray of a really awkward part of my elbow. So they're like, okay, could you stand around the machine, right, put your left leg out of it, put your elbow on this plate, move it over so it's not in the way of the machine. With your left arm, can you sort of go around there and pull it in a bit, but you've got to have it down, you've got to have your head back. It was like playing medical twister. It was appalling. And then, so the nurse and the people go behind this lead-lined protective screen. And I'm like, really? So I look on the wall for reassurance. I see 4 hooks on the wall. And one of them says, 3 to 5-year-old, I'm not going to use the word because Christian, male bits protectors, right? Next hook says 5 to 7-year-old male bits protectors, 7 to 9-year-old male bits protectors, 9 to 13-year-old male bits protectors. I'm like, have you got a 47-year-old male bits protector? Thank you very much. And I go around for more reassurance, and to reassure the kids, they've got like stickers of Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse. Here, at an 8-year-old eyes level, is a cartoon sticker of Buzz Lightyear, who's like a spaceman, shooting a laser out of his arm. I'm like, is this the sort of message you want to be sending to 8-year-olds about what an X-ray is like? Like, mummy, what's an X-ray? Oh, don't worry, darling. It's an invisible beam that won't hurt you. Walks into the operating theatre. I'm going to be attacked by a spaceman. He's going to shoot my male bits off, you know. What is this? Infertility and beyond, you know. It's quite scary. Now, the NHS was absolutely amazing, can I say. But they did strip my dignity from me in 3 different ways. First thing was, I was literally shouting with pain in front of crowds of people. I'd walk into A&E and I was shouting with pain in front of crowds of people. Mummy, what's that shouty man doing? Oh, he's okay, darling. You know, he's just in pain. The other thing was, it was too hot on the day of my operation, so I couldn't wear a hospital gown, so I was literally in my boxers. Now, I don't know whether you have a spectrum of underwear, from underwear I could die in that my mum would be proud of, to tattered rags I'd rather be seen dead in. Well, I wasn't quite here, but I was one step up. So it was like, Mummy, what's that strange man making strange noises and wandering around in sort of like a zombie tattered rags in? Oh, it's okay, he's probably homeless. And the final way was they gave me, eventually, this brace. It was like a robot brace. It had 4 things here, a big wheel, it's all metal. Again, I look like Buzz Lightyear, like shooting people. Like, Mummy, what's that robot monster who's shouting? I don't know, but let's get out of here, you know. It's pretty scary. So the last thing is, I am right-handed, and I couldn't write. And my job is to teach people English. So it looked like I was illiterate. I was literally writing comments on the work like, good job. And then they asked me to sign a consent form. I'm like, well, how do I sign it? So they're like, oh, it's okay, just use your left hand. Somewhere in the bowels of the NHS is a very serious document about a very serious operation where I have given consent to have my elbow operated on, written as if it looks like a 5-year-old. Cool. So that's the sort of comedy bit over. A bit serious. When I went for my operation, I went on a Sunday, and I went in, and they said, sorry, Mr. Cole, can you go home? Because somebody of more importance has come into you. You know, we've had like a hip or a pelvis operation. You've got to go home. And in fact, we've had to do this 7 times to one person. And I was like, okay, in order for me to have an operation, all the hip, neck, spine, pelvis injuries have got to be cancelled. All the operations have got to be cancelled. And all the operations of anybody who's in more pain than me have got to be cancelled. That's impossible. 2 days later, all the hip, spine, pelvis, neck operations were cancelled. All the operations apart from mine, that was more important than mine, were cancelled, and they put me in first, this is on Tuesday, because on the Wednesday was the doctor's strike, and they cancelled all the important operations in case they went longer and they went into the doctor's strike, and they didn't have doctors to do it. So it was absolutely amazing, and the end result of the operation was the most positive possible. So I didn't even have to have cast afterwards. So that was God. So, glory to God. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.